Today's going to be slightly annoying. That's what people have told me. Ms. Hoff, we've done this. I understand that. Okay. Today is a review. If you notice when I pull this up here, it's going to say one-step equation review because you've done this before. But again, just like distribution and combining like terms, I need to bring it to the front of your brain. Because by the end of this chapter, you guys are going to be solving equations that are far more intense than what you've seen. And so if you can't keep track of stuff now, we're going to have issues later. So just like with your distribution, grind through it, find where you're making common mistakes and fix those. Today's the same thing. Today we're setting the expectations of what Ms. Hoff wants to see on every single problem for the next 3 weeks while we work through chapter 2. So today we're going to review. To solve an equation, you must get the variable alone, and you also have to have a positive 1 coefficient. Okay? Today is more about the process, procedure, and work than it is the correct answer. So the very first problem, 26 equals 8 plus v. I already heard somebody say it. The very first thing you have to do is draw that line through the equal sign. That helps us keep the equal sign in the same exact place. It also reminds us whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. So the whole point of this is to get our variable alone. So if I walk up here and I cover up v, listen to what I'm going to say before you shout. What do I need to get rid of to have v be by itself? 8. Is 8 currently positive or negative? How do you know it's positive? There's not a negative sign in front of it. How do I get rid of a positive 8? You subtract 8. You subtract 8 from both sides. Okay? 26 minus 8. Notice I wrote minus 8 on both sides, a big equal bar across. 26 minus 8 is 18. 8 minus 8 cancels, and we drag down the v. Now, something you're going to notice Ms. Hoff automatically does is I put a 1 in front of that v. Okay? I put a 1 in front of there just to remind myself there technically is a coefficient. We don't always write it, but it's there. V is by itself. Nothing's added or subtracted to it. And there's a positive 1 coefficient. I am done. Go down that left-hand side to the next problem. Negative 15 plus n equals negative 9. Draw the line through the equal sign. If I go up here, think before you shout, and I cover up n, what do I need to get rid of? A negative 15. How do I get rid of a negative 15? Or what's the opposite of a negative 15? A positive 15. So I need to add 15 to both sides. Negative 15 plus 15 cancels. I drag down my 1n. Negative 9 plus 15. Positive or negative? Positive 6. N is by itself. There's nothing added or subtracted. And there's a 1 in front of it. Means that we are done. Stay on that left-hand column. Do that bottom one on your own. Show what you're doing. You got to show me both sides what you're doing. Got to have work to show me that you're doing the same thing on both sides. Find m for me, please. Don't work ahead of me. Don't work ahead of me. Having this filled out isn't going to do anything for you. Bottom left is all you're doing. Draw your line through your equal sign. If I want to get m by itself, I cover up m. What do I need to get rid of? Negative 9. To get rid of it, I add 9 to both sides. So show me that you're adding 9 to both sides. 9 and negative 9 cancel. I drag down my m, and Ms. Hoff always puts a 1 in front of it. Negative 13 plus 9. Negative 4. negative 4. Now, I heard somebody make a comment up here of, oh, there's a plus sign right here. This being a plus sign tells me that V is positive. That has nothing to do with 8. Remember that, right? You always got to look in front of the number to know if it's positive or negative. And you're always looking to do the opposite thing. If it's positive, to get rid of it, we subtract it. If it's negative, to get rid of it, we add it. On the right-hand side, this one looks a little bit different. There's not a sign in between the 10 and the n. Somebody raise your hand and tell me what math operation is occurring there when you have a 10 next to an n. Thad? Multiplication. When that number and that letter are right next to each other, we are multiplying here. The opposite of multiplication is division. Now, our whole point is that we have to have a positive 1n. So what do I need to divide by that when I divide it, I get a positive 1n? JC, a 10. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. 10 divided by 10, sorry, this keeps jumping on me, gives me 1n. 40 divided by 10 is 4. When there's no sign in between them, that means you're multiplying. To undo multiplication, you need to divide. If we go down the column, I draw my equals bar. When you have a letter and a number written as a fraction, what math operation's actually happening here? Division. The opposite of division is multiplication. Now, you're only moving or changing the denominator. Don't change the V. So we are going to multiply by 8 because 8's technically over 1, and it will cancel. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Notice I didn't multiply anything with V. V is still there. So I come down, I have 1V equals 2 times 8 is 16. Add this one to your paper and do it on your own. 14 equals negative 7x. 14 equals negative 7x. Take a minute and solve that equation on your own. When negative 7 is right next to x, what math operation is happening here? Multiplication. Now, the opposite of multiplication is division. What do I need to divide by that I'm going to end up with a positive 1x over here? A negative 7. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. The whole point is that you end up with a positive 1x. 14 divided by negative 7 is negative 2. Watch your positives and negatives. Watch your positives and negatives. Set your pencil down. Fold your hands so I know you're listening to me. Everybody agree you have seen this before, yes? Okay? And that's good. I want today to be a review. I want today to be like, oh yeah, I have done this before. So in a minute, don't move. In a minute, when you flip open your worksheet, it's 16 questions. And I could have done this on Alex, okay? But what's most important today is the process and the procedure. Stop. Fold your hands. Is the process and procedure that I see that you're showing work. So that's why I created a worksheet. As you're working today, I don't care if you do one problem, if you do 7 problems, if you do the whole thing. I have created a place for you to check your work. Now, does Ms. Hoff have a Google Classroom for math? No. So where do you go to get information for my class? my lesson plans. If you're gone, if you're going to be gone, if you're working on something at home and you're stuck and you're like, gosh, she said something in class and now I can't remember. Go to students. Go to lesson plans. What team are you on? 8th grade red team. Which class are you in for me? 8? Are you a 7th grader still? We just let you into this class. Week 4. Today is Tuesday, September 14th. It tells you what you are going to do. And then right here it says check answers here. So as you're working, you can use this Google form. Enter answers for each question to see if you have calculated an accurate solution. If you need to enter a negative, it should look like this. Feel free to use this form as many times as necessary until you get all of the problems correct. If you get stuck, please ask for assistance and guidance. Okay, set your pencils down. You're listening, you're listening, you're listening. You don't notice they're not required, so you can put in, like, maybe you start at 16 and you put in the answers to these and you hit submit, and then it says view accuracy, and it'll tell you what you got right and what you got wrong. Clearly, whatever I guessed was not correct. If you close that one, you can say submit another response, and it'll just let you submit. Do I care how many submissions you have? No. Okay, the whole point of this is I want you to have accuracy. I want to make sure that you have this done to 100%. Put your laptop away. Okay, so following instructions is where I'm getting most frustrated with your entire class in general. I give you so many instructions that people are doing so many other things, and then 30 seconds later, they ask me a question that I just answered. Now, realistically, do I think you're going to get this done before the end of the hour? 110%. And is that okay? Absolutely. If you are done and you have it checked and you know you have 100%, you're able to put it away. Now, I can see if you've checked it, so don't put it away if you haven't checked it. If you're stuck, let's grind it out today so that tomorrow it's a little bit easier and the next day it's a little bit easier. Okay? When you're done, you can work on other homework. Yes, that includes your laptop. Creating memes, playing games, surfing the web on ESPN are not school assignments. You should not be on them. Also, emailing your friends back and forth like a chat window is also not okay. That is not what your time should be spent on. Okay? As 8th graders, though, you should be able to find something to do to fill your time. Agreed? I don't care if you're reading a book, if you're drawing a picture, if you're working on other homework. You can't sit and be idle, though. Don't sit and be idle. What a waste of time. Here's a challenge I throw out to every single class every single year. If you have absolutely nothing to do, go fill your pie chart. Go work on those topics. It's not going to hurt you. You're going to cover things that we're working on. Go pick the topics you want to do and fill that pie chart. You fill the pie chart all the way, let me know. I will reward you. It'll be more than a piece of candy, I promise you. I've only ever had one kid every year do it. So I'd like to see how many of you could do it. Pass the time. Do it during enrichment if you need something to do to keep yourselves out of trouble. As 8th graders, I really feel like you should be able to fill that time. I don't want to give you more homework. Do you want more homework? I really don't want to, but that's kind of where I'm at. Is like, okay, well, they have too much free time. Now I got to give them something to do. I don't want to do that. Okay? Worksheet, check it. Once you get 100%, you can work on other homework. Cool? Work silently. I will turn music on for you. The rest of the hour is yours.